Hola, everyone, and welcome to Open Hybrid, coming to you from Chari Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll speak to Hostos Community College Children's Center's Director, Cathy Garcia-Bou, and social activist Evelina 100 Centennial Community Honorary Chair, and Evelina's sister, Elba Cabrera, as they discuss the importance of introducing children to civil rights and education activism. Then we'll be joined by New York Latino Film Festival founder, Calixto Chinchilla, and contributing director, Julietta Rodriguez, as they discuss this year's featured films and the return to in-person screenings. After that, we are joined by creative director and CEO, Terese Brown, as she discusses her clothing line, Terese Sydonna, and its newest collections and styles hitting the market. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on singer-songwriter, curator of Songwriters Sunday, and entrepreneur. I am Chelsea. I am with a performance at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Open Hybrid. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, coming to you from Chari Executive Suite, inviting you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. As we continue honoring the life, work, and leadership of Dr. Evelina Antonetty on what would have been Evelina's 100th birthday, with celebrations through concerts, art exhibitions, music, and much more across the city and Puerto Rico. Joining us today to share more on Evelina and her family's impact in the Bronx through their activism in bilingual education, food programs, and the youth is Hostos Community College Children's Center Director, Cathy Garcia-Bou, and social activist, Evelina 100 Centennial Committee Honorary Chair, and Evelina's sister, La Madrina de los Artes herself, Elba Cabrera.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a long introduction, right? It's just, we've been highlighting Evelina every single week to introduce her or elaborate on all of the different aspects in which she's going to be celebrated, as well as the days. So I wanted to make sure, or we're trying to make sure that our audience understands that this is like almost a week-long festival, kind of, sort of, that is in celebration of her contributions to the Bronx, as well as the Latino community within the Puerto Rican diaspora, right? And so Elba, as her sister, who has had the actual privilege of witnessing all of this, let's just open up with sharing what this all means to you and how you're feeling about this, because it's a big event.
I'm so honored and so proud of my sister. She did so much, not only for New York, but for the world. Let me tell you, she traveled to many states. She traveled to PR. She even went to Europe in conferences. So her name is well known everywhere. And every time someone comes up to me and says, if it wasn't for your sister, I wouldn't be where I am today. And you know that really, really gets to my heart. And this has been a very difficult time for me because I've had to go back to so many memories and photos and thinking about my whole family. I used to be la nena de la casa, and now I'm the la vieja de la casa. So, to go through my lifetime, it's been hard. I mean, it has been good, but it's also brought back memories that I wish I could just grab onto them and still be here with me. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I know, but you made me a little sad there now too, because I'm feeling it. I get it, but the celebration itself, it just sounds like it's gonna be like
it's more than we imagined.
Yes,
and you were in on the very beginning that I did the show with you with Nidia.
That's right.
And we told you what we were planning, but at that time we didn't realize how big it was going to get. And
it's okay. There's still time. I, as far as I'm concerned, I think this could be an annual celebration because, I mean, today specifically, though, we're here to talk about the book reading, the book Las Tres Hermanas, also the Hostos Children's Center, and so we have Catherine here with us, who maybe we should introduce everybody to Hostos Children's Center because it's a place that I don't even know if many people know exists.
Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you to Nydia Edgecombe for thinking of the Children's Center and having us participate. We are really honored to be part of the Evelina celebration. Yes, so the Children's Center has been at Hostos for 40 years, and it's an institution that exists to serve typically student parents. So we're not open to the general public, which may be why we're not that well known. But we serve the parent population here. Many of our students are single parents, young parents, struggling to hold down full-time work, full-time school, and full-time parenting. And we provide the opportunity for these students to go off and do what they need to do and not have to worry about their children for 1 second, which is an incredible gift that we're giving to the Hostos community. But we're an educationally focused center. We're not just a child care center. And so in that regard, we often partner with other organizations, and the Evelina people reached out to us. So we will be working with the children. The teachers will be working with the children through stories and art projects. And we have posters displayed across the center with her image on it. We'll talk a little bit about how she came from another place and came to this country and was successful, very much like most of the students' parents. So we'll try to make that connection and that relationship. And the fact that Evelina was an advocate for parental rights and for children advocacy helps us support our mission.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How wonderful. And what age range are we talking about?
Oh, they're little, 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4, but yeah, you're still making it accessible to them in a way that they can comprehend, and which now leads me into Las Tres Hermanas, right? Because Las Tres Hermanas, written by Nancy Mercado, which of course you're part of that. You're in that story, Elba, right? Yes. Has illustrations by Somos Artes, and then I understand there's a coloring book too. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. First of all, let me give credit to Casita Maria. It was their idea to get this done, and they published it, and they've been very, very, very good in giving us copies. So I have to put that for them. So this was done a few years ago when we had the Las Tres Hermanas exhibit, and it was done specifically for children, to give out to the children, but it turned out that we had enough that we did give it to adults as well. And many people have told me, I'm not going to let my kids in on this because they're going to start messing up the little booklet, and I want to keep it as a souvenir. So that it's become iconic, I guess. So that's where that came from, and Casita Maria really should get the credit for this idea.
Well, thank you for saying that. I love that, right? Because Casita Maria Center for Arts and Education is a institution within the Bronx that serves the next generation from K to high school. So the fact that they're actually contributing in this way, even though I know they're also part of the festival, which is why I've been telling everybody, just go to the website because there's so much going on throughout this entire, I mean, it's not even a festival. I'm calling it a festival. It's a celebration. But it feels like a festival.
Yeah, but a festival is a celebration. And let me tell you, Evelina would love it because she used to celebrate her birthday every year at UBP. And if you didn't go, you were on her list, okay? So, you know, it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
Okay, wonderful. And then are you going to be reading to the kids?
I actually will be there making a presentation.
Yes.
If they ask me to read, I'll be happy to. In fact, we did it during the exhibition. We had a group of students come in from the, they were a little older. They were like 4 or 5. Yeah, they were elementary.
Elementary.
From another school, yeah. So, no, I would be happy to. And I'll be there with my niece, Anita Antonetty, which is Evelina's
Fantastic.
one of the daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's going to be, that within itself is going to be really memorable for them because they're going to be reading and learning. And then here's the family and also you're part of that story. So what a wonderful gift you're providing to the next generation. And I think it's so important that we educate them with our history. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's my family, my whole family.
And so before we go really quickly, Catherine, can you tell us what the itinerary looks like for the day? What does the agenda for the day look like?
Well, Elba will be reading.
Right?
We'll have a slideshow and the children will have some art projects displayed and we're inviting the parents of all the students to attend.
And so what time does that start? Is it open to the public as well?
No, so it's a closed event, unfortunately, but it's September 14th, which is a Wednesday from 11 to 12.
Could I join in on something?
Okay.
Evelina would have loved this because that's who she was. She was a very outgoing person. And I think this tribute to her, when she's looking down at us, because she will be looking down at us, she's going to applaud us.
And once again, thank you so much, La Madrina de los Artes, Elba Cabrera, who is also the Evelina 100 Centennial Committee Honorary Chair, and of course, Evelina's sister. And thank you again to the Hostos Community College Children's Center's Director, Cathy Garcia-Bou, for being here with us, and you guys. I'm sorry it's a closed event, but for those of you who do attend, Hostos Quien Fue, who was Evelina Antonetty and her 2 sisters, children's story, will be part of the Evelina Antonetty Centennial Celebration, which is set to take place Wednesday, September 14th, beginning at 11 a.m. at Hostos Center's Children's Room, which is 109 475 Grand Concourse. I don't know if I should be giving all that information. Closed event, but for those of you who are watching that attend Hostos, you should inquire further. All right, for more information regarding multiple events taking place between September 12th through the 19th, visit evelina100.org. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to talk about an in-person screening finally at this year's New York Latino Film Festival. Don't go anywhere. everyone. Welcome back. The New York Latino Film Festival is the premier urban Latino film event in the country. And it was founded in 1999, and the NYLFF is what we refer to it as. You know, we speak in acronyms nowadays. It actually produces culturally relevant and entertaining experiences that build audiences for Latino cinema, supporting the film community with professional development and fostering relationships for Latino talent. And this year, the New York Latino Film Festival returns to its in-person screenings with an impressive roster of 105 films from nearly 10 countries. And joining us to share more is New York Latino Film Festival founder Calixto Chinchilla and contributing director Julietta Rodriguez, who is being featured with her film Upia. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
welcome. I am super enthusiastic about this year's New York Latino Film Festival because you have really outdone yourself. I mean, you and your team, I should say, because wow. How excited are you about going back in person, Calixto?
You know, it's taken a minute. I mean, we were happy doing the drive-ins in the Bronx. We got to, come to a borough that, never had something like this before. And, we became on record the first Latino drive-in to be produced in New York City history, right? And so, while we made history, we're also anxious to go back to theaters and really share that theatrical experience and see these movies on the big screen. But
well,
yeah,
before you even dive into that, I just want to pay, I want to give you a shout out in always thinking outside the box, man. That, I mean, and not only that, shedding some light on the borough, but also just being innovative and making sure that that we're seen also, right? But creating these historical moments, as you mentioned, I think it shouldn't go. We shouldn't continue without me at least emphasizing how.
Oh yeah, it was a special moment.
Yeah,
we got to bring in so many Bronx vendors, and to sell and do things, and it was like a different energy. Probably an experience I won't forget, but. Hopefully this new festival this year is going to be something I won't forget either, right?
Well, hopefully it'll expand into a 5-borough festival.
Your mouth to God's ears, I guess.
Oh gosh, but no, but let's talk about these genres and 105 films. Wowza. Let's talk about it before we dive into Julietta's feature.
Yeah, I didn't even know we were showing 105 films until we counted, right? Until the roster was done. But yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal slate. We're coming in real strong. There's a lot of good films from the US. Dominican Republic is coming in at its strongest ever. We have 7 films from the Dominican Republic in feature competition, which has never happened in the history of this festival in 22 years. Wow. So it's a Renaissance year. Puerto Rico, came in really strong. He has one of these, films as a co-production. And we have a lot of exciting different events that are happening, from our digital conference to we're closing with a block party. We could talk a little bit more about that, but yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. It's a full slate, shorts, documentaries, everything you expect NILF to be, but in person.
Well, I gotta say, I want to segue into Julietta and her film and the fact that it's a thriller and the way it's done, and that it's honoring the Caribbean, Dominican Republic. I know it premiered in Puerto Rico, so let's talk about this.
I have a strong relationship with Puerto Rico. My husband is Puerto Rican, a filmmaker from Puerto Rico. So yeah, I was so happy to show our film in Puerto Rico. It's my second home. First of all, I want to thank you and thanks the New York Latino Film Festival and thanks Calixto for the invitation to this program. Thank you very much. Upia is the story of Tomas, a police investigator who has fallen into depression after the murder of his wife and the disappearance of his daughter. Looking for information, he ends up in a nursing home for elderly, where he will face Atabe, a nurse with mysterious Taino power, and a disturbed doctor.
You see, I know. That's a lot for people to digest, right? They're like, what? Como? Yeah. And exactly, that's exactly the point in this film festival even existing, because it relates to our culture, right? And so
Yeah.
the mysticism inside of the thriller and
Very supernatural thriller. It's really good.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And so really quickly, you already mentioned the Futura event, right? And then I know that your opening night, you're doing Habla Loud, right?
Yes, so I'll run down it pretty quickly. We kick off everything September 12th with our Futuro Influencer Conference. It's the top Latino influencers and influencers of the game and color, of color speaking about the business of influencing. We're always on Instagram or whatever, but how do we make this money? How do we really elevate ourselves and own our content? So all of that is going to be covered at the conference. We have an amazing slate of executives that we're announcing today on our website. And then we kick off with Habla Loud, which is, it's going to feature, Richie Torres, the founders of the Young Lords are featured in this one. There's so many celebs that are going to be. Yeah, so everybody's going to show up for that. It's a premiere. And then we have the La Bamba 35th anniversary. So we're going to reunite the director, the actors from the film.
Oh my gosh, that's like an annual thing for the New York Latino.
It's crazy, yeah. And then we're doing Mija, which is coming out from Disney. It's one of, their potential Oscar contenders. And it's a sweet film about, two girls dealing with immigration issues, but it's all around music and their love for music, but also their love for family.
All right, and I just want to chime in on that one. I want to chime in on that one really quickly, because I want the people to understand that what I really love about that film, even though I only saw a sneak peek of it, is that it's really coming from the perspective of being a music manager.
Yeah, it's from a music perspective.
But right, I like that. I like that a lot.
It's very different. Yeah. So, and I think Disney's hoping that this is probably going to be the next Oscar contender, like they won the Oscar last year for Questlove's film. And so it's going to be exciting. We have the director here with us. And then what else we got? We got, our web series. We're closing off with a big block party. So we're taking over Dykeman, that whole strip of Dykeman. We're going to have music, drinks, food, a concert, and we're showing a movie called Winter Ball.
And I know as the founder, you're not aware of, rather, you're not looking at every single film, but I did want to make note that there's one film that stood out for me. I don't know the name of it, but Princess Nokia is in it, and it has to do with the waters and Yamaya, and and of course going back to our cultura, right? And so. The whole point of me even mentioning that is that it's relatable to our cultural upbringings, and it's important for you, our viewers, to support it and to show up, and to just even yourself walk away with a sense of orgullo that we're there, we're represented on the big screen.
There's so much power in just us, you know what I mean? And I remember moments when Michelle Rodriguez came here, and she wasn't Michelle Rodriguez, you know what I mean? And she networked. I remember Gina Rodriguez came here. She wasn't Gina Rodriguez, right? Like, so there's always those moments where you never know who you're talking to and where they're gonna be 10 years from now. Julietta is a very, is a big example. She came in as an actress years ago, and now she's coming back as a filmmaker. And I hope 5 years from now, she's coming back as an Oscar winner. You just don't know.
Thank you,
right?
hopefully.
And so I think that's a testament. That's what the festival is here for, is for us to really network and build amongst each other for this moment of time, and then take those relationships and grow from it. And I've seen so many filmmakers throughout the years that build so many relationships, that's where you create legacy, but that's where we create ownership as a culture. And so that's what we hope the festival, ultimately, that's the job of the festival, is to build these spaces.
Yeah, and we thank you for making sure and sustaining and having that space for that to even develop, and for cultivating the community and making sure that we live in the space of possibility. Yeah. So we're out of time.
I got 103 reasons. I got 103 films and 103 reasons why all is possible.
That's
For
what's
God,
up.
all is possible.
I
So,
love it. I love it. Congratulations on another
thank
year.
you.
Chinchilla. Congratulations to you, Julietta Rodriguez.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Filmmaker
so
of
much.
Julia, one of the featured films once again at this year's New York Latino Film Festival, which is set to take place from September 12th through the 18th. And it's opening at the Regal Union Square located at 850 Broadway, which is in Manhattan. And there's various locations for different events. So if you're interested in information on the events that are taking place within the festival that are not film screenings as well, make sure to visit nylatinofilmfestival.com. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll talk to creative director and CEO Terese Brown as she discusses her Jamaican and Japanese fusion clothing brand, Terese Sydonna. Don't go anywhere.
Ella, hurry up, get your bathing suit. The pump's open.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my God. Can we put it back,
I'm gonna
please?
sit in your car, you're gonna relax, and I'll change your bags.
All right.
That'll do.
I'm relaxed.
From the small screen to the big screen, experience life like us at the New York Latino Film Festival. Y'all heard? NYC, best city alive.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest is the CEO of her own clothing line, Terese Sydonna. And well, her slogan, where modern functionality and comfort connect, reflects her brand as it centers on fighting the fashion's inauthenticity crisis by empowering women to be more of themselves through designs that reflect how they feel, who they are, and where they're going. She incorporates her vibrant Jamaican culture, Japanese art, and architecture in every collection. Here to share more about her new collection, Lucy, an ode to Jamaica, we welcome creative director and CEO of Terese Sydonna, Terese Brown. Hello and welcome.
Hi. So excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yay, we're excited to have you. We're excited to share with our viewers the vibrancy that you've created with this new collection. But before we even dive into that, let's talk a little bit about your background and share with us what inspired you to begin your own line back in 2011.
Yes, so to tell my story, I have to start from the beginning, as with all that I do. And I am an island girl. I'm a Bronxite. I grew up in Lucy, Jamaica. I migrated to the Bronx when I was 7 years old. I'm still a proud Bronx resident. And back in 2011, when I started the collection, it had been years and years of that moment building up to that very special moment when I launched Terese Sydonna. And funnily enough, I had been working in corporate America for some time and realized that it just was not for me. And in almost every space that I was in, whether it was in finance, in buying and merchandising, sales, it was always these same issues that women had. Women were facing such incredible amounts of insecurity in the workplace and at home. You know, it was just pressure to fit the status quo, pressure to be a certain size, pressure to show up glamorous all the time. And when I was in buying and merchandising, we would go to our meetings in these really structured dresses with heels. Back then, no one ever wore sneakers. You would wear it to the train and then change into heels. And that's what it was, right?
Those days, yeah.
Right.
I'm a New Yorker. Yeah.
Right. Those days, like you saw everyone running in the trainers and then changing right before you went into the office. And that was my life. And over time, I saw that what women were really looking for was a safe space to be themselves. They were just looking for an identity, a clothing, a wardrobe, a way to present themselves that was comfortable, that honored who they were, and that it wasn't just like everyone else. And so when I created my line, I wanted to address that issue. And I wanted to create something that was meaningful to women, that could empower women to show up their authentic selves.
So since then, and thank you for sharing that backstory, how hard was it, and or was it easy for you to disrupt it? Because your style, rather, at least in this collection, it's very, very tropical looking and very comfortable looking. And then, you know, we were referencing corporate America and going into the office and looking a certain way. I know things have shifted, especially since the pandemic, but I'm curious to know, like, how you evolved in transforming that look.
The look has transformed with me, right? And so the collection is an evolution, and with each collection that I produce, it's a story, and it's a continuous story of this woman who's on this journey of self-identity, who has insecurities, and I'm highlighting how she's overcoming it, like item by item, style by style. And with my collection, the colors speak to that. And my pieces are so colorful because it's representative of where I'm from. It's representing my culture. It's almost like a cry for all women to join together and really pave the way. I always say, with my pieces, they're true conversation starters. And so a lot of the women I dress are CEOs, they're professionals, you know, climbing the ladder in their careers, they're socialites, they're entertainers. The one thing that they love is that they can stand out. And a lot of people don't subscribe to this, but I think there's also a shift happening now where you are your personal brand. So it's, how are you showing up? What are you wearing? What does it say about you? And the pieces I design address that in a positive way.
Yes, and so that being said, this new line, I'm curious to know. I know I myself personally, we shared this prior to getting on air, am into comfort, style with comfort, and this new style that you've created, rather this new collection. I wondered if the pandemic influenced it, and also I'd like to know how the pandemic either hindered or helped your productivity.
I think the pandemic at first was devastating. And in time, I saw that this was a real opportunity for me to reposition the brand and for me to create a new way of dressing for professional women that was comfortable, chic, modern, and functional. I think in corporate America, all women are just striving for that balance, and we're just sick of it all. Like, just, I'm over it. Like, and that was a sense that I was getting. There was something missing. There was something they were like looking, searching for. And I saw it was this. It was clothing that was more size inclusive, materials that were low maintenance, quick drying, wrinkle free, prints that were feminine but bold and beautiful. And I'm so thankful for the pandemic, because if it wasn't for that moment where we all got to slow down and really evaluate where we were in life, what we wanted our lives to look like, what we wanted to look like and show up looking like, I don't think the collection will look the way it does today.
And so as I mentioned, you know, it has like a happy flow, and then the juxtapose of colors mixing green with pink. And so I know that this particular collection is influenced by your island. So can you just share with us, because I'm really interested in learning more about how your process, what goes into your process, and how you choose what's going to reflect your personality as well as your ancestry, because you're honoring your island.
Yeah. So Lucy is where I'm from in Jamaica. It's the name of my town. And it is a beautiful town right on the water, right by the ocean, the Caribbean Sea. It is very lush. So every single color that you see in this collection, you see it when you land and you are there in Lucy. The collection is paying homage to all the national symbols that make Jamaica what it is. Green is a favorite color of mine. You will see that throughout every single collection, some shade of green. And I saw that trend and I was like, oh my gosh, they're wearing my color. So I had to include that as well. But truly, in the print, every single color is in there because I wanted it to be something that could be easy breezy. You could wear with any color accessory, any color shoe. You couldn't go wrong.
Especially if you're curvaceous, because I love the ones that have the open cut in the back.
Yes.
I'm like, oh yeah, that
Yes.
would really compliment me.
Absolutely. And every single piece is made to address a certain area of the body. I'm addressing problem areas. If it's the stomach, you've had some kids, we have high-waisted items that kind of like cinches in the waist. If you're curvy, pear shaped, the back opens so it's relaxed. The shape is A-line, it's not too tight. If you want to add curves, you know, it's fitted as body conscious. They're truly shapes for every single body type.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I was having fun. I felt like I was on vacation going through your website.
Oh, that makes me happy to hear. That's the mission accomplished.
Yes, mission accomplished indeed. And we thank you so much for bringing it here to our viewers. Do you have any last words before we go?
I do. I want to let you guys know that we just celebrated 60 years of independence from Britain. Jamaica celebrated that on August 6th.
Terese Brown, everyone, creative director and CEO of Terese Sydonna. Once again, for more information on her new collection, Lucy, visit teresesedonna.com. All right, stay tuned because Bobby C's weekly sports roundup is coming up next.
Hey there, sports fans. Last Friday on the show, we got a chance to catch up with the newest women's basketball assistant coach for the Manhattan Jaspers. Here's part 2 of our interview with Samara Marsh.
I think, too, one of the things in this conversation that I wanted to touch base on with you is the growth of the game of women's basketball. I mean, not just in its popularity, but also I would say in the growth of the actual game itself, you know, in terms of the athleticism. And also, I would say the interest in not just the athletes, but the fans to be heavily involved and engaged in the sport.
It's become the premier destination for postgraduate, for players that want to go pro. I think before its existence and even in its early stages, the realisticness of being able to get into it was kind of short-sighted. Now athletes are saying, I'm aiming to play in the WNBA. I'm aiming to be a part of it. And to watch the fan base grow, to watch, to go to games, and to watch young children, to women, to men be excited about it, to watch the game evolve, women dunking, women, the crossovers, the speed, the power, the strength of the game. And then now, as a coach, having to evolve at the amateur level to be able to coach players that can play like that and those types of talents. And I hope it only grows and gets bigger and bigger. I do my part in supporting the W. I make sure I wear my orange hoodie. I make sure I get tickets to the Liberty. I make sure that I definitely participate in that.
Give me the rationale as to, I'm one of the top, we'll say even, we'll narrow it down even more, top 25 girls high school basketball players in this area, why should I stay home and play at Manhattan?
When you come to Manhattan, you get the opportunity to grow with mega talents. From the mega talented head coach we have here, Heather Voulin, to myself and the other assistant coaches, Raven, Rhina, and Callan, you're going to be around exceptional basketball minds. At the same time, you're going to be able to mature into who you want, and you're going to be able to be featured. And as long as you put the work in, you can end up a star. We're connected, and we can help you get to professional ranks.
Good recruiting pitch, Coach. Good job. So, you end up, you speak of the recruitment. I mean, the #1 ranked class in the conference when you were at 3 seasons at Delaware State, and during that time, one of the #1 ranked classes in the conference. And during this more recent stint for you, not just being an assistant coach, but you have a period where you're the interim head coach. Speak about what that has meant to your development, Sam.
Moving over one seat, no one has ever lied to me about how hard that was going to be. I actually was able to coach a game once as acting head coach, and then sitting as the interim head coach, making the final decision and the final call. Experience is a gift because it really helps you through a time like that. But I can tell you it was part excitement, part nerves, and part, please let me make sure I get everything right. That was a huge part of it because I didn't want to let anyone down. And although it was a very short window, I did grow. I loved it. I loved being a part of that. I loved getting the opportunity, and the feedback I got from the administration at Del State and the players from the games I coached, they really did appreciate my leadership style.
That's terrific stuff. I feel like there's got to be a big excitement in the room at Manhattan because the team has been able to, I think, it's had some ups and downs, I would say, right, during this period that you've been gone. But anytime that you can have someone that returns and has added more to their resume and kind of comes back and can add the recruiting component, the opportunity to improve the roster is the first steps towards getting better. So speak a bit about what that's been like. You feel like there's been that energy from the roster with having you back in the building, so to speak?
Yes, it all started with the phone call from head coach Heather Voulin, and that was the first step. Once I was able to join the staff and I got to meet the team, that was like the second level. I knew I was where I was supposed to be. And being from the Bronx, the energy of loving the game, having fun when I walk into the gym in the office every day, it spills over. And it's reciprocated. I'm getting the same energy back from everyone that I'm working with and with the team and the talent. I'm working with the wings this year. And some of the point guards, which is different than what I have been working with the past few years. Yet at the same time, you never lose it. It's like riding a bike. So with the work that I'm doing now, I'm bringing it every day. I'm sweating with them in the workouts. I'm making sure that I'm bringing energy and that they're following my lead because this is going to be an exciting season. After a championship game appearance last year, the bar is set major high. So we have to be able to make sure we're building on that consistently and make sure that we get ourselves back there.
And was that a big part of your desire to also want to come back now that the team's kind of been more solidified and been in place and had some success, and you can maybe come back and kind of push them over the top, Sam?
Yes, I couldn't wait to get the phone call to come back. I love coaching in the Bronx. I love living in the Bronx. So for me, it was a perfect marriage. It truly was.
That's awesome. And I guess for the fans at home, I know they can go to the website, but give us that, that first date on the calendar. When I know practice will start in October, but the games will start a little bit after that.
November 7th, we have a home game that's opening night. Our schedule will drop soon publicly, and we just can't wait to get the seats filled at Dratty Gymnasium. I know I can. I'm going to have my family, my friends. I'm going to have everyone there from the Bronx. It'll be represented for sure.
And Sam, before we let you go, just I guess a couple of quick thoughts, almost like speed round, just because it'd be cool, I guess, to get your perspective. We kind of mentioned before about the Liberty. This was a transitional year for them, but I think, making some strides. They get into the playoffs, first round exit, but a first year head coach. Your thoughts on Sabrina Ionescu and the Liberty and maybe the chances that they get a step further next summer?
I really hope she re-signs. That's one of the major, I think the first things is getting her to re-sign and not shop herself to another team. Lainey was out for a large part of the season with an injury, and us coaches and us fans know it's always hard when your best players are injured and you don't have your full roster. But at the pro level, there are no excuses, just like at the college level. But for me, I'm open to liberty. That roster sticks together. They figured it out. The first 8 games were kind of rough, but they figured it out toward the end. And I think that they have something special, maybe 1 or 2 more pieces, someone to help Natasha Howard in the post. I think they'll be okay. I'm really watching. I'm a real fan.
Yeah, I know you are. That's why I wanted to ask you. And on that note, I guess as a concluding question here, do you think that we will see Brittany Griner again in the WNBA?
I really, really believe that we will. I think what's happening right now is very scary at the same time, and it's there are a lot of people, I think, working from Dawn Staley to her lawyers, politically. People are trying to really push to get something happen. But I do believe she'll play again. I want to see her again. She's one of my favorite players at the pro level.
Oh, Sam, you're one of my favorite people when it comes to the game of basketball, one of my favorite coaches, and very excited to see you back in Manhattan, recruiting again and doing your thing, and best of luck this upcoming season with the Jaspers.
Thank you so much, Bobby. I hope to see you on the sideline too.
I'm going to try to make it out for some games. I mean, I'm always making my rounds, but very cool to still be part of local television here in the BX and highlighting some of the stories. And, obviously you have an amazing story, and I think it's great that you've been able to have such a terrific impact in so many different stops now, working with young athletes. And again, I think part of coaching and mentoring isn't just about the success of whatever it is that you're coaching, but also what it means and translates in terms of after that. So I'm sure that you and I are on the same page when it comes to trying to make sure that the people that we work with, have better lives after dealing with us. So I think you've done a great job doing that, using vehicle of basketball to do so.
Thank you, Bobby. I'm honored. And I truly love the Bronx. I don't think I'm ever leaving again.
Sounds good, Coach. I will see you at Dratty.
Yes. Thank you, Bobby.
Welcome back to Open Hybrid. Our last guest is a young and dedicated musician with a New York state of mind and a Midwestern spirit. Gypsy, I might add. As an international touring artist, yes, she is. She's she's had the opportunity to perform at numerous festivals, venues across the country, showcasing her rhythmic, heavy bass lines and synth elements. Her most recent project, A Beautiful Struggle, was released in 2021, and since it's been accompanied by various music videos and episodic vlogs on her YouTube channel. And we're going to dive in a little deeper about her travels because it's so interesting. Please welcome singer-songwriter, curator of Songwriter Sunday, and entrepreneur, Chelsea Johnson, also known as I Am Chelsea. I Am. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah, we had you over during the pandemic.
Yes, definitely.
You were doing virtual parties then, right? Or virtual functions, I should say.
Yes.
And now we're back in person, right? I have a big old smile on my face because I was going through all your stuff. And I'm like, boy, she couldn't wait to like start hopping around. Like,
got to get out there, yes.
Yes. But what I dig, aside from the fact that you're doing it, is that you're breaking it down for people on just, creating your own tours, not relying on having a manager to design this lifestyle. So let's talk about that real quick.
Yes,
you have all the time in the world, but let's just start with how many places have you been to since the pandemic, since everything started opening up?
Oh my God. I've been to California. I've been to Texas. Most recently, I've been going to Boston at least twice a month for the past 3 months. Boston's been showing a lot of love recently, but I've been all over the place. I've been Ohio, of course, that's where I'm from. So yeah, I was eager to get back out, Definitely.
All right, so but dig it, right? And really quickly, because I'm trying to be as quick as possible because I want to dive into the fact that you made it your business to go and book your own bookings, right? And so I know there's a whole process you go through, or whether it's researching venues and stuff like that, what that looks like, and then what the possibilities are having creating that for yourself, right? Because it's not like where you're going, what kind of gig is, what kind of monetary gain there is, or if there is, or how do you decipher all of that?
Oh, it's really like it can become a snowball effect. So I'll just specifically talk about Boston. So earlier this year I did BAMS Fest, opening up for SWV and D Smoke. And it took me years to get on that festival. I just kept applying. But while I was there, I took advantage and I visited other venues to see friends or whatever the case. If I really enjoyed the venue, I reach out to the manager, who's the person I should be in contact with. And the rest is history. They ask for EPK, samples of your work, pictures, of course. And it's a constant follow-up. Not only are you a creative, you have to have a business mindset to say I need to follow up with this person, or even advocating for yourself. That's something that I've also learning very recently. Just because somebody offers you a price, it doesn't mean that you can't ask for more, right? So yes, it's beautiful, and I'm so blessed to be able to perform and things like that. But there's definitely a business mindset that you need to have, even in thinking about transportation and thinking about food, amenities, because on a lot of these gigs in Boston, I'm bringing 2 other bandmates. So I have to take them into consideration as well.
Right. Look at you, Miss Producer.
I didn't think about that, but yes, definitely. That's what it is. Yeah.
Right. No, but it's so cool though, right? And I'm just really excited about how the creatives have expanded into being business creatives, which what you're sharing, and how and how, I don't know. I mean, you share with me, had it not been for being enclosed for so long, would you have taken this on in exploring on the scale?
I mean, honestly, before the pandemic, it was something I was already exploring. There's a different methods to madness on booking yourself in different cities. One thing I will share that I've done in the past is hashtags. I'll search a hashtag. Let's say I want to go to Austin, Texas. I'll search Austin musicians and see where people are performing in Austin. And if any of these venues are a fit for me, is this something that I actually want to pursue? So it was something I was doing previously, but I think after the pandemic, it's you have to be even more creative in doing this for yourself. And I will also say that your network is so important. My friends, I performed for Black Lives Matter Greater New York in Times Square during the pandemic. That wasn't me. That was my friend Descendant. He was the one that made the call to me. So also paying it forward. If I know that this venue is looking for artists, let me call my friend. Let me call this person. Let's help each other out, and keep the synergy going.
That's lovely, and thank you for sharing that, because it is important. It's very important to pass it forward, and also to build up together, and more than that, to explore and adventure and take control of your own destiny. You guys, well, that was I Am Chelsea, I Am, and even though we were talking a little business, we want to make sure you don't go anywhere, because when we return, she's going to perform for us, so you don't want to miss that. Hey everyone, welcome back here now to perform. Let's give it up for I Am Chelsea, I Am.
Love my bad days, love my scars, love my mistakes, love my faults. Can you maintain when life goes insane? The worry it might bring. I'm not perfect, but no, I'm worth it. You might not know this, but I'm your purpose. You are mine, it's all divine. But can you see the light? Oh, hopelessly, endlessly, so deeply, I'm falling for you, so complete. You need me, I need you, I'm falling for you. La la la, la da da da, la la la, la da da da, la la la, la da da da. Love is patient, love is kind, love forgives all, just give it time. Promise that you'll be around when this world brings you down. Tell me how you feel, 'cause I'm out on a limb and I can't see the ground. 'Cause I'm not worried, I've never been more sure. Hopelessly, endlessly, so deeply, I'm falling for you, so complete. You need me, I need you, I'm falling for you.
Groovy rhythms. Yes, that was I Am Chelsea, I Am. And if you're interested in more information, you can check her out on social media platforms at I Am Chelsea, I Am. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recable cast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adios.